Good morning everyone. My name is Soham Patra and today I've been given the opportunity to talk about reservation, the unnecessary evil. Now, what is reservation? Reservation is a government policy in which minority groups are given special releases in terms like age group, which means they would be given a greater age, like let's say except for being 20 to 25, they would be given 19 to 35. Similarly, there is pass marks, except for being the pass marks of 720, minority groups can get their pass marks in 500. Exam fees, like let's say a normal exam will take 200 rupees as a fees, they would have to pay only 150 rupees. Reserved seats, let's say in an examination there are around 100 seats. In those 100 seats, according to what the reserved seats say, that around 27 of all the seats have to be given to minority groups. Even if a child fails, they would get the reserved seat of 27 if there aren't any participants left. And special priority, let's say there are a lot of exams and some students get good marks or same marks, the person with belonging to the minority group will get special priority in getting elected for passing. Now, I'd like to talk about the reservation here in India. Reservation in India is mainly based on caste, religion and gender. But the problem is in the reservation based on caste. Our government have decided our government exam seats to be on the basis of lower castes, which gives the lower castes an unfair advantage. This system is made by giving ST or the scheduled tribes 7.5% of all the government exam seats, SC or scheduled castes 15% of the seats, OBC or other backward castes around 27% of the seats, and recently EWS or economically weaker sections around 10% of all the seats. Therefore, we understand that this system is basically hell for all the middle class people, because 59.5% of all our seats are reserved by the lower section of our society. Now, the history of reservation in India. The history of reservation starts from pre-independent India. It was okay to say that reservation is born as a grudge from our great man Mr. B.R. Ambedkar. He was extremely discriminated when he was a child by the whole world around him. So, when he got the chance to write the constitution, the official rule book of India, he did not hold back. He wrote that the minorities should get reserved seats in all government exams. But here's the twist. He said that after 10 years, this system should be abolished, because according to him, he thought that 10 years is enough to give them the appraisement they lacked. Now, why do we still follow it? It is today, that's June 16th June 2022, which is around 61 years, 3 months and 21 days after the law was supposed to be abolished. But still we are following reservation. Why? It's because of a propaganda every party uses. The unwritten law of doing whatever one person can to gain votes and remain in power. This is sad, as millions of animals in disguise as humans would rather put qualified doctors in charge of the future of Indians, in the charge of the future of India. There are millions of deaths of students all around India just because they are getting wrong treatments. Think of the horrific disappointment a family gets when their child dies. Think how depressed a family may get when they understand the fact that their child could have survived if they didn't take him to a doctor who is supposed to make and save people's life. Now, I've been ranting about reservation and how it's a cruel and oppressive system, but that's not the case. Everyone can rant. How should I give a fixing to this? Now, this is not something that came in my idea, in my brain. Every Indian knows how to fix this reservation system. It's very simple and mind-blowing. Just change it from a caste base to an economic base. This is so simple because with this, if we can take an average, something like families with annual earnings below 1 lakh may get 27% of the seats, below 2.5 lakh can get 15% of the seats, and below 5 lakh can get 7.5% of the seats, and so on. I'm like just giving a base skeleton structure of what it can be based on. Now, this would also mean that we can remove the EWS seats or economically weaker section, because the whole caste system, sorry, the whole reservation system is made based on EWS. And another thing we can also consider is how many members are there in a family. Let's say there are 9 passive members and 1 active member, and their earning is 5 lakh annually. So at that case, we can give them a reservation of 15% of the seats. Now, obviously, this is an extremely difficult thing to implement, but if done properly, can help in cases like tax evasion, illegal property, and things like these. Now, what would happen if we implement this new reservation base? If this new reservation base is implemented, there would be less suicide cases. There would be less cases of the rich becoming richer and the poor becoming poorer. People who, after taking the benefit from the system, would be stripped from this system, as they would no longer need it, because their earnings of a normal doctor here in India annually would be above 5 lakh. There wouldn't be any anger or protestance from the lower caste, because according to our government they are already poor, which means that they would, like, how should I say, again get the opportunities and chance in this new system, in this new reservation system, because according to our government the lower castes are poorer. So as there are poorer than the minor, the like the Brahmins and the upper caste, they would again get the opportunity to be selected in reservation. Now another thing, one of the most important things, the poor people for whom this system was supposedly made would also get to taste what they actually wanted, what they actually needed. And finally, India, the most beautiful country in the whole world, would get closer to being truly secular as it says it is. So, thank you for hearing me rant about reservation and how it can be fixed. And let's make India great again. Jai Hind and have a wonderful day ahead.